How's everybody tonight? I guess it's still the afternoon, but I was going to change up. I didn't label the live stream tonight correctly. I'll fix that later. But I got some afternoon tea for you. So I did a bit more preparation for tonight's live stream than I usually do. I have the scent of the evening, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up a little close-up for you. So this is what we're going to smell tonight. It's called Gravel, or that rather is the name of the house. The perfume is called Across the Ocean, and I like this one a lot. I feel like this is pretty inspirational. It smells really good to me. I have a hard time wearing sort of lighter perfumes, finding lighter perfumes that I like, and then I go out and buy stuff that isn't really light. But it's called Across the Ocean, and it has all their perfumes have gravel in them, so that's the thing. It's really good. It's really good stuff. But this one has a sort of a rose in it, and it's got cashmere in, and it does sort of take you across the ocean. And when I got this perfume, I brought it home, I put it on, and I was like, I'm gonna make a perfume that reminds me of this perfume. So this is an inspirational perfume for me. I really like it, because I like cashmere in a whole lot. So we're going to go ahead and make a perfume tonight. And like I said, I did a bit more preparation than usual for our stream, because I really feel like when I do a perfume here on the stream and then I go work on it, it gets better. So there's been at least a couple of occasions where we've either done a two-part sort of situation, or I brought you a perfume that I'd worked on previously where it really turned out well. So what I did is I took a base that I really like and I simplified it into just a few drops. And so that's what we're going to do tonight. I'll go ahead and bring up our overhead. And so we're going to go ahead and play with this base. Now I have a completed formula that I worked out, just because I was playing with this base and wanted to continue a bit. So I of course want to modify that, and it would be really nice if I could modify it in such a way where I really understood what was going on with the accord, with what I was building. So I have these materials all laid out, and I'm happy to share with you where we're coming from and where we're going exactly. But I've made this formula such that we have 8 drops in the base and 8 drops in the mid and 8 drops on top. And so I'll go ahead and start, because I actually used this material. This is Coanol. I don't know if, no, I can't really do that. I should set up a new view for you. But, so, we put a drop in there of this Coanol, which is about 2/100th of a gram, maybe a little less. So that's kind of what we're shooting for one drop, is, you know, that around there. So we're gonna go ahead and take our ambroxan crystals, and I'm just gonna grab kind of a nice big thin piece. This might be too large, but I'm just going to drop this one in. And that's about 2/100ths of a gram. Wonderful. So that's what we did. We used our ambroxan crystals, and just added one drop of ambroxan, but at full strength. So happily we'll move along to the Habana lead. I don't have very much Habana lead, and that's why I wanted to do this perfume with you tonight, because I'm not going to be experimenting too much with this formula without any Habana lead. And I just put one drop of Habana lead, because so we're kind of doing equal parts Coanol, ambroxan, Habana lead, and then this stuff here is called Animalis. It's from Cinnarome, Animalis Hypo 27. And this stuff is, you know, just a synthetic, I mean, it's supposed to be like a civet-like material, but it's good. Just one drop of that. So we're doing this all equal parts. And, oops, I keep on attempting to throw out my droppers in the wrong place. So this is kind of the base. I mean, it's all musk and amber. And I kind of took this base out of one of my perfumes just because I wanted to play with it. And something else that I took out of that perfume is this Vetiver acetate. And we could certainly go in different directions from here. But I want to follow, like I said, I want to follow this formula a little bit so that I can tell what's going on. So I put 2 drops of the Vetiver acetate in here, and that's just, I really like this material because it's like, I have Vetivers that are really dirty and really, just really good dirty Vetivers. And then I have some other Vetivers that are just, yeah, it's Vetiver, but it doesn't do me, you know. And then this Vetiver acetate, it doesn't do me like Vetivers that I like do me, but it really builds a wonderful structure in the base. I just love it. I love Vetiver acetate. Anyways, so we have 2 drops of Vetiver acetate in this, and along with this base. And where I went, the direction that I went the first time, I played with this formula was I immediately added Chocoban, and that's also like a little bit from my perfume. Chocoban, I just love Chocoban. It's great stuff. I have some real chocolate here. We've played with it before, and that's really good. It's really fun, and it does a whole lot that the Chocoban does. And I have some Cocoa Absolute, and I have different things to play with, but Chocoban is just really kind of useful to me in the kind of perfumes I like to use. But we're not going to do that yet. I want to build this out and learn about this accord a little bit. So rather than fill out the base, we're going to actually move forward some more, and we're going to build out the middle. I have a drop of myrrh in this formula. This formula has a lot of materials just with one drop, and it's kind of fun because I can swap out materials. So this is a live stream where if you had some or most of these materials, you could play with this base, and some of these accords we're making. So the myrrh I am using specifically to play off of the rose, because myrrh and rose just work really lovely together. And this is our Turkish rose. So this is the really indolic, heavy rose, but we're only using one drop. And this is another place where we could use a different rose. We could put more than one drop in. Myrrh is really it's really fun to play against the rose, or play with the rose, especially that big heavy rose. It works nice. And this is like that Namibian myrrh and our Turkish rose absolute. And then I added one drop of this geranium essential oil. And here's another place where we could go in different directions. I don't know, maybe we should hold off on the geranium, but I think we should follow the recipe to a very large extent and then just play with a couple of variables. We haven't finished the base. We still have 2 drops to add in the base. And we've added 3 drops to the middle. That's really nice and fresh with the musk and the geranium, and that myrrh and our amber is giving it a bit of a lift. Now, I had played with some other materials before to actually give this perfume a whole lot of lift, but we're going to continue with our formula, and I'm adding Jasmine Sambac Absolute. And here's a place where we could add something else. We could do a different jasmine. We could also I don't think I got a whole drop there. We could also do, we could go in a completely different direction, lay off the, yeah, it's so nice and big and deep. I love this. Even though there's even bigger jasmine, in my opinion, I really, really like this grandiflorum that I have. It smells so good. But it's different. It's bigger and deep. deeper, and I love this, the jasmine concrete too, because it's somewhat like the grandiflorum in that it's very wide, but it's much more compressed. So it gives a lot of room for other materials. So you could go in a different direction here and say put lavender in it and push sort of a linalool vibe. You know, but this is really becoming a lovely bouquet there in the middle. And what else I put in here that I'm really excited about, because I don't usually, it's because I just added one drop of these things. I really get to smell how this is all building out. And of course, now coming back to the recipe, I have all my materials, the recipe, the formula. I have all my materials laid out in front of me, and I can build it up in a way that really informs me how the things are doing. Now, sometimes when you add something, that's all you can smell, that last thing you added. So we've put 4 drops of middle notes in there. The last thing I put in was cypress essential oil, and it's working for me here, because it kind of layers nicely underneath that geranium, that sort of green hit that the geranium gives me. We're going to give it 1 drop of this 1% Damascone solution. And we're going to also, this is exciting too, because see, I kind of took it in a different direction, where I was building out this bouquet, and then all of a sudden I ended up layering a whole bunch of woods on top, and this is part of what I really like about this formula that I worked out. And plus I'm using 2 of my slippery ingredients, so I'm really excited about some of these accords that are in here. Now this is the blood cedar wood, which is also an interesting top note, because it's really unlike your average cedar wood. So I added those 3 before I even smelled what it's doing, and so it still has that nice, I mean, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of soapy scents, but there is a soapy quality to this that's really exciting. Okay, so I don't know if we have still plenty of room on the top, but I don't want to railroad myself. We already have dipped. I'm gonna wait on this just for a second and go ahead and put our 1 drop. And this stuff just takes forever to draw up into the pipette. This is our Vetiver CO2 extract. So, because we have some different directions that we could go. I was using sandalwood, and one of the ideas I had was to replace the sandalwood top note with a bit of this attar that I have that we've played with before that's, heavy in the osmanthus, because that's kind of a nice uplifting top note. The other thing is I was thinking we could play around in the base. So right now we have basically all of our bases covered, so to speak. We have 6 notes. We have 6 drops of notes, except for the top. We only have 4 drops in the top. So we have 6 in the base, 6 in the mids, and 4 on top right now. And this Vetiver CO2 is like a little glob. It's going to take a little while to dissolve properly. It's going to give a nice vetiver hit to the top end. That's a bit dirtier than the vetiver acetate, so it really pleases me and defines this as a vetiver scent. Now, I really think you could bury this vetiver acetate a little bit and it wouldn't necessarily be a vetiver perfume just because you use vetiver acetate. I love this stuff. It's not cheap, and I think it's all, I want to say it's synthesized naturally, but there might be vetiver acetate that you can buy that's natural, but it's kind of expensive, so I tend towards the lower cost ingredients if I can, even though some of the natural stuff I'd say does smell better, because for instance, and I haven't bought any natural vanillin myself to use in my perfumes, but I did have some of Mandy's vanillin solution that really smelled better than my vanillin, and I was like, wow. So maybe it's worth getting the natural ingredient in some instances just for the quality of the smell. So I'd be curious to try natural vetiver acetate because I really enjoy this material. So this is nice because that blood cedar wood is kind of a sour wood note. I want to say burnt, but it's not really burnt. It's more like just a sour touch. So where I had gone is I was playing with that chocolate. Oh, we actually have more than the chocolate. We only have 4 notes in the mid, not 6. What was I thinking? Oh, we have 5 notes in the mid with the Jasmine Sambac. So we have room for 1 Chocovan, and then we have 2 more. And then we have room for, because see, I have some Chocovan that is a lower, like a lower concentration Chocovan that I wanted to try in this specifically. This is one of our tweaks, is that I'm gonna just here now that we fill, I think we're gonna go towards this gourmand thing. And I'm just gonna put 1 drop of this 5% Chocovan, because I was playing with this formula at 10%, and I had also played around with a dilution of this benzaldehyde that I was using on top. So this is just kind of half-strength Chocovan in the mids, and smell it. So I'm gonna leave it at that. That's our new sixth drop. So now we have 2 drops in the middle, and basically when I played with this before, I was using good old ISO-E Super, which is the whole reason I put the woods on the top, is because it had sort of this woody quality. And I don't really have like a good suggestion for like where to go in the middle. I mean, we could go all kinds of different directions. I mean, even this apple isolate might smell apples and chocolate and almonds. That might be really good. So, but the thing is that I had used the clear wood in there, and so I was thinking maybe I didn't need to use the ISO-E Super because I had put this clear wood in it. So I'm tempted to just fill out the middle with the original Formula's clear wood and kind of railroad us into this too. This is really gonna be about the patchouli now, and we're gonna add, I'm tempted to add 2 drops in the base and complete our base and just remove the ISO-E Super completely. And I think we are gonna remove the ISO-E Super completely, but I wanna add just 1 drop of the patchouli fractions that I love. And it's a pretty cool ratio in my opinion, that 2 drops of clear wood to 1 drop of patchouli fractions. I really like that. And you know, for a while I was working without, you know, really good dirty patchouli, and I didn't really feel like I needed it. I mean, I'm like super into patchouli. That smells amazing. And even that geraniums playing off of it, it's like there's dynamics in this. It's a really lively scent. So I'm gonna go ahead and put, and see, when I first got this benzaldehyde, I was going nuts with it. And that's why I really wanted to present a formula to you guys that was like, you know, something that I was really proud of. And 1, 2, 2 of this full strength, well, 50% in benzoate, benzaldehyde. And I felt like I was going overboard with the benzaldehyde, and then I experimented with some dilutions, and I realized that this stuff isn't as strong as I thought it was, maybe. And for this scent, maybe I was trying to overcome that chocovan. I ended up using 2 drops in here, and it's not too strong at all. It's nice, especially now that we reduced the strength of the chocovan. It's really nice. The benzaldehyde is nice. So I'm really glad that we followed the formula as closely as we have up to this point. We only added 1, so we still have 1 drop in the base and 2 drops on top in order to complete this perfume. And I'm really excited about the way this smells. So my immediate go-to thing would be to add oud. And I'm also tempted to just add some real nice dirty vetiver to the bottom too. But, you know, it would really amp up the green if we, and it would, but it would solidify, I mean, the patchouli and vetiver are both very woody. Um, you know, and, but they're also both very, I mean, oud is very earthy too, so I'm tempted to go with the oud. It really depends on how strong this seems. I don't know if it's gonna be that insane to put one drop of this oud in. And this is the oud, we've used this oud before, because I just love this oud. I love to wear it, and I love to use it in my perfumes. Oh, it smells so good. And it's kind of, you know, moderately strength. It's not a big bad boy. I don't have a ton in here, but I only need one drop. Oh no. It's really having a hard time picking this up out of here. Let's get one drop. And maybe at the very end of my bottle here. But I hopefully have a drop in here for our purposes. Oh man, less than a drop. No, look at that whole big old drop. Oh, I hate it when the drops kind of bubble, because I always feel like there's not enough material there. I'm gonna get an underweight drop. I don't even know what an underweight weight drop would be. So it's like I measure oud in swipes. Speaking of which, try to get some of this bad boy out. That was like 2 swipes. I love this stuff. I have enough of the beard to put it on. Oh, this stuff's great. So, anyways, that really hasn't dissolved because that's a gooey little blob down there. Or maybe that's attached to the vetiver CO2 still. Oh no! I thought I had my do not disturb on. Just make sure it's not some kind of emergency. Pretty confused about that call. Anyways, I want to kick this out, finish up the stream, and we will come back to it. Anyways, this is going to be a very lovely perfume with that oud, and all we need to do is add the top notes. So I guess we're just going to stick to the formula for you guys. And so I was about to drop this down earlier, but I really wanted to see how the perfume built out, especially because this is kind of an expensive material for me, and you know, I only want to use it if I'm committed. So this is the Sandalwood CO2. I just love this stuff because it's a nice mellow sandalwood top note, and so we really have a nice top here with the blood cedar wood and the sandalwood and the Palo Santo and the vetiver. So we use 2 drops of the benzyl benzoate and 2 drops of the sandalwood CO2, and then 1 drop each of the vetiver, Palo Santo, Damascone 1% solution. Not sure what else, if anything, we used on top. And then in the middle we used jasmine sambac, cypress, geranium, myrrh, rose absolute, a couple of drops of clear wood. In the base, we used 1 part ambroxan, a drop of coenol, a drop of habanalide, a drop of animalis hypo 27, and we replaced 2 drops of isoe super with 1 drop of patchouli fractions and 1 drop of oud, and then I forgot about the 2 drops of vetiver acetate. So this is just a really fun, musky, kind of gourmandy floral bouquet with a nice woodsy top. The cypress and the Palo Santo play well together with the geranium, and there's just, this is just, I really like this. And with the oud and the additional patchouli, I mean, I don't think we're gonna miss that isoe super in this one. I really like it. I mean, I was honestly wearing the perfume I made all day and enjoying it, and this one I think is gonna be kind of the same thing. Now, I of course didn't, I don't think I have I have within arm's reach at least my bag of sample bottles, so might be more than we need to fill an atomizer. But what is a Perfumery live stream if we don't spray perfume on skin? So these are a little bit, that's going to overflow when I put the top on it. Where did I put the top? It's going to overflow, but that's what the fun is. Let's have a party with our perfume. No, it didn't. Hopefully this is a good atomizer. I'm excited about this. Smells great. I'm gonna put it on paper before we say bye. This has been fun. I think I'd like to play with that osmanthus attar that I was telling you about, and maybe I'll tell you about it, and maybe we'll play with it together, or maybe we'll use this base for something else if I have another drop of habanalide. So, or maybe we'll pull up another base and move from there. So anyways, I hope you've enjoyed it. Little afternoon tea, maybe a little late in the day, but take care. It's been amazing. I wish you all well.